Hi everyone, I'm JJ Coach with Wintermere Group 1, and today we are going to talk about spring maintenance tips. So the first thing I want to talk about is smoke detectors. You should have a smoke detector outside of every bedroom and every sleeping space and on each floor of the house. They should already be installed, but if you don't have any, we have access to programs to get them installed. So reach out to us on Facebook and we can make that happen. Also, you should have a carbon monoxide detector for every floor. Since they're already installed, what you want to do is every spring and fall test the batteries, maybe every October change the batteries. Next, I want to talk about cleaning your gutters. So we know April showers bring May flowers, but April showers also bring the granulars from your roof down into the gutters, and it collects along with the moisture from the winter and the dust that's in the Tri-Cities anyways. So what it does is create a little film in there along with debris or leaves, little branches and limbs and whatnot. So it's important to clean that out in the spring, clean out your gutters and downspouts in the spring. That way water can flow freely away from your house and right away from the foundation. Another thing you want to do is take a caulk gun around the exterior of your house, take a look at all your siding, and wherever there's a seam, make sure the bead of caulk is still intact and it hasn't separated. If it has separated, just run a bead of caulk down there and then paint over the top of it. Another thing you want to do is your fascia board is the part that protects your soffits and your attic from the elements. So the water runs off the roof, goes down the fascia board, and then collects on the bottom of the fascia board. So what you want to do is have some kind of protective membrane, whether it's caulk or paint, along the bottom of that so the water doesn't collect there, swell, and rot your wood. An easy way to do it is just take your paintbrush along the whole edge of the fascia and just touch it up with a fresh layer of paint. Another thing you'll want to do is change your HVAC filters every 3 months. Spring is a good time for that. It's also a good time to schedule a service. We all know the Tri-Cities weather changes rapidly. We got snow on the ground now, but soon enough it'll be 50 degrees tomorrow, next week, and then it's going to be hot before we know it. So what you want to do is beat the rush and get your HVAC service scheduled now before everybody else calls to get their schedule. Another thing you want to do is take your caulk gun around the interior of the house. A good place to start caulking is around your sink bases where it meets the countertop. It prevents water that splashes out of the sink from going down and into your cabinetry. Around the toilets as well, keep those seals intact. And you can also, while you have your fresh eye, take a look at your sheetrock and see if there's any cracks that need puttied or painted. As a house settles, it has a little bit of movement, and it's a good idea to, if you have cracks in the seams of your sheetrock, get those repaired and just put some putty in there and paint over it. If you don't have a caulk gun, you can get one at your local hardware store. Another good idea with spring is a time to clean the windows, do the deep clean, get ready for that yard sale, declutter. And while you're decluttering and thinning out, maybe take a look around the outside of your house. A common problem with landscaping is it grows and all of a sudden it's touching your house. So you want to keep those bushes and plants trimmed away from your house, because when they sit against your house and moisture gathers on them, it creates a space for them to deteriorate and rot your paint and your wood. So it's a good idea to trim those away from the house and keep them separate. And while we're talking about exterior home maintenance, as fire season approaches, it's a good idea to go to firewise.org. Firewise.org has a lot of resources on what you can do to protect your house from a wildfire. So if you live in the Tri-Cities, odds are you're near a vacant lot that can catch on fire, or pushing out to the outskirts of town that can catch on fire. So firewise.org has tips on how to thin out your arborvitaes, what vegetation is fire-wise, which is resistant to fire, how to thin out your property, storage of hazardous materials, gas cans, lawnmowers, best practices for fire safety to defend your house before a fire approaches. Another good resource is your home inspection report. This inspection report has a tab for a seasonal checklist. So in the spring and fall, you just go through and follow everything on the checklist. Interior, electrical, heating and cooling, doors and windows, plumbing, foundation, exterior, roof, and little notes like, on this date we replaced this furnace, on this date we replaced the water heater. That way, it really provides value when you go to sell your house and you can show so many records that you maintain the house immaculately. It really gives peace of mind to the buyer. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, reach out to us on Facebook at Coach Properties. If you have any questions, let us know. We'd be happy to help.